At 2 in the morning this week, an email hit my inbox. It started with 4 words. Dear boss, how are you, my friend? I want to show you something with that email, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand why that one message is the most expensive mistake in global manufacturing, and why a different factory on the same continent just made Apple Computer, the most powerful company on earth, bend the knee and pay whatever it asked. 2 factories, same part of the world, opposite universe. Let me show you the gap, because if you make anything overseas or you buy from anyone who does, that gap is worth a fortune. Now, I've spent 35 years in packaging. I've sat on both sides of the table, and this week, 2 things landed in front of me within hours of each other, side by side, explain almost everything about who wins and who stays stuck. Let me give you both. The first was the front page of the Wall Street Journal. Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, sat down for an interview and admitted that Apple is about to raise prices. That's a big deal. His exact word was unavoidable. Why? Memory. The memory chips that go inside every iPhone and every Mac have quadrupled in price over the past year. And even Apple, with more cash than most countries, with decades of supply chain mastery, with all that leverage, cannot get enough of them. Think about what that means. A handful of factories in Asia, names like Samsung, SK Hynix, and Micron, now decide what Apple pays. Apple does not set the price. They do. One research firm estimates it could add $270 to the cost of the next iPhone Pro. And Apple is going to eat it or pass it on to you because it has no choice. Now, here's the part most people miss. Samsung was not always this. 30 years ago, Samsung meant cheap. Cheap televisions, cheap microwaves, the budget brand you bought when you could not afford the real one. Today, Apple pays Samsung whatever Samsung asks and calls it unavoidable in the pages of the Wall Street Journal. So what changed? It was not the price. Samsung is not winning because it is the cheapest. Samsung is winning because it became known for one thing. Did that one thing better than anyone alive and made itself impossible to replace. Memory. That's the entire story. Nobody emails Tim Cook at 2 in the morning asking if he needs a reliable chip supplier and offering to hit some magical target price. The relationship runs one direction. Apple asks, Samsung answers. It was never about price. Now hold that thought, and let me read you the second thing that ended in my email this week. 2 in the morning, from a factory in Guangdong. Here is how it went. Dear boss, how are you, my friend? Do you need to find a new reliable supplier? We can do as your target price. More than 10 million bags per month. We are one of the biggest factory in Guangdong. Now look, I want to be fair. That email almost certainly came from a real factory. 10 million bags a month is real capacity. Those automatic lines are real equipment. There may be genuine, serious engineering inside of that building, real capacity, maybe even something nobody in North America does well. And not one of it survived my email. Listen to the signals. Dear boss, how are you, my friend, tells the buyer and decision maker, you have no idea who they are. Who can do as your target price tells the buyer you have no option or position of your own, and you will become whatever is cheapest. Bragging about being the biggest factory in Guangdong is not a strength. It is the commodity tell. Size is what you brag about when you have nothing else specific to sell. And nowhere in that email is a single problem solved. No structure, no fitment, no barrier, no printing capability, no named customer it was written for. So the buyer does the only rational thing in the world: delete. And here is what gets me. Every one of those deleted emails is a deal the factory will never even know about. And the deal you never made does not show up on the P&L. The greatness, if it's in there, stayed invisible. Let me put you in the buyer's decision maker chair for a second, because this is the part overseas factories never see. A North American buyer that reads the email in about 2 seconds, on the phone, between meetings, they do not see a factory. They see risk. They see broken English and a target price and a stranger across the ocean, and they move on. Because the cost of being wrong about a supplier, a failed run, a recall, a line down at 3 o'clock in the morning is enormous. The cost of ignoring one more cold email is zero. And here's the thing I need you to hear. That was not a language problem. Plenty of trusted suppliers operate every single day in a second language. It was a trust problem, and trust is the whole product. A factory praising itself is invisible because every factory praises itself. The buyer, the decision maker, has no reason to believe a word of it. So what is the way out? How does a real factory stop getting deleted and start getting the Samsung treatment? It starts with the same move Samsung made. You pick one niche. Stop trying to sell all kinds of everything in packaging to everyone. You take the one thing you do better than anybody else, the real problem your packaging solves, and you become the dependable answer to it. Not the cheapest, the answer. But then comes the part you cannot do from across the ocean, no matter how good of a factory you have. You need an advocate. Someone in North America who knows what buyers here actually want and need, what they're afraid of and what they search for. Someone who speaks the language. Someone who can get past the clerks and reach the real decision makers. Someone who will take your greatness and translate it into something a buyer and decision maker will trust. And critically, somebody independent. Because when a factory says it's great, nobody believes it. When an independent authority that buyers already trust, already search, names you as an answer, that changes everything. That independent authority is exactly what we're building with a specialized packaging marketplace. And here's why this works right now in a way it never could before. The way buyers actually find suppliers has completely changed, and most of the industry has not noticed yet. Buyers do not dig through 10 emails of Google anymore, or 10 pages, I should say. They open ChatGPT or Perplexity or Gemini, and they ask and they get an answer, plus a short list of who to trust. Now think about how that machine builds that answer. It does not cite Google ads. It does not cite factory bragging about itself. It cites authority. Independent, credible, useful content. And for most specialized packaging niches, that content does not exist yet. The lot is completely empty. Nobody has built it, which means whoever builds the best, most trusted content on a narrow topic becomes the answer the machine gives for everyone who asks. For years, you cannot buy that with Google Ads. Samsung did not buy its way into the place where Apple cannot say no. Samsung earned it by being undeniable. A factory earns the North American lane the same way, with proof, with trust, with an honest broker who knows the market doing the translating. Now, let me be clear of who this is for and who it's not. This is not a lead list. This isn't a spam at scale. It's not a cleaner, better written version of that 2 a.m. email. It's not for the factory whose only real pitch is that will be the lowest number on the quote. If that is you, we will not be together. This is a waste of each other's time. This is for the factory that has something genuinely good and dependable and the patience to build the trust slowly and on purpose. The Samsung path is not the fast. It took Samsung decades, but it is durable and it ends somewhere the price war will never get to. It ends with a buyer coming to you and your factory. So let me leave you with where this started. This week, the most powerful company in the world admitted in public it cannot do business without a few Asian factories. Not because they are cheap, because they made themselves trusted and impossible to replace. You can hold that kind of position in specialized packaging, not across everything, in one niche, but only if you stop selling cheap and start becoming known. If you make packaging, or you buy it, or you know a manufacturer who is tired of fighting on price, I put the full written breakdown in the description below. If this made you think, please subscribe, because this is the conversation I'm going to keep having. And if you are a factory with real greatness that nobody here can see, you know where to find me. It was never about price. Check out the other videos that we put together that usually fall right into a playlist. Share this with anybody you believe it will help. Thanks.